Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
All right, hello, yes. Welcome once again on a Sunday morning to the KOKO Match review on this Sunday. Goodness me, it is a glorious sunny day in every corner of Australia because guess what? The Wallabies schmitted it in overnight. Yes, 42-37. We really gave it to those Poms at Twickenham. An 84th minute Max Jorgensen try off a left-handed ballsy flick pass from Len Ikitau, and the Wallabies go in to secure their first win of this Grand Slam tour. Gents, just give me one of these. Bit of a round of applause. Who would like to lead off with their insightful analysis of this giant win? Adam, I mean, it's not usual that you're here. Would you like to lead off?
Oh, yeah, I love leading. Where do you start, Prof? I mean, there's so many great talking points, particularly off the... Mate, it was one of the best wins I've seen in the last couple of years from the Wallaby boys. The fact that there was, 3 tries in the last 10 minutes that could have decided the match. I mean, the first 20 minutes was all England. It's probably the best 20 minutes I've seen them play in a long time as well. Their ability to keep the ball alive, apply a lot of pressure, convert that pressure to points, really had the guys under the pump there for the first 20, but we didn't have the ball. For some reason, we're able to find a way to kind of find some shape, find some attack, and find our way back into the game, and also lead by the half was a real test of character. Really good signs. I thought there were, really good performances across the park. Billy was huge. Bobby Valentini was big. Wilson was big. The one talking point was probably the centre combination or the centre pairing of Ikitau and Sua'ali'i. It's probably one that we didn't really expect, but also didn't expect the performance of the two as well, and how well they gelled, how they worked with each other throughout the match. I thought the headline was Joseph all week, and there were some pretty close eyeballs on him throughout the match. But I thought Len Ikitau was outstanding, and particularly that last little backdoor movement after the back of eight or so minutes of just kicking in that last 10 minutes. The boys had a genuine crack and were able to find the edge. And Jorgensen just finishing off an absolute ripper try to win the game. It doesn't get much better for a lot of those boys there, because I reckon the only guy there that has been able to beat the English at Twickenham is maybe James Slipper. So I'm so glad that the majority of that squad got to taste what it's like to beat the English at Twickenham, because there's nothing better. And what I love too is I didn't really hear much of that sweet low sweet chariot rubbish. I maybe just heard it twice in the second half when they felt like maybe the English crowd felt like they were under the pump, and things could go the Aussies' way. But it was a cracking match. I'm not too sure I was able to provide a bit of insight there, because there's a lot there to talk about.
Viv?
You reckon do they still have the bathtubs?
Sure.
That's one of the great traditions afterwards, where you get in the bath, sink a few beers with the boys like you're sharing baths. Doesn't sound that good, but as a player, it's kind of a nice little reward after a test.
Mate, you remember we were there in 2015. I don't think they do. I think they removed them.
No, we were in the away dressing room, so maybe in the home one they do.
Yeah, but we would have always been in the away, you'd imagine.
No, we played some with Barbarians. We were in the bathtub. Oh yeah, with Wallabies we were as well at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I mean, how good for the guys for themselves to kick off the Grand Slam tour with a win, and it's still alive. That's really important for them, and they went over there with pretty high ambitions, and it's well and truly on track. And I don't think too many people up in the Northern Hemisphere probably gave the Wallabies too much of a chance. I know Ben Youngs, former halfback of England, sort of said, Australia, don't waste my time. Doesn't even think the Lions should be playing against us next year. And then, a few weeks later, we dust them at home. Maybe,
Don't
a little bit of that
time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a little bit of that right over the weekend because Rico Ioane had the last laugh with the All Blacks and threw out a little tweet saying, "Put that in your book," after Johnny Sexton's revelations in his book, and and then even like this, in the Aussie England game, the first try score for England doing this or whatever it was from the English
Yeah.
Premier League, and then Lukan
But Trey
Salakaia-Loto does
Young
that
too
in the
cold.
84th minute, just like a little bit of like, maybe just don't crow too early, which is which is great. And I mean, solid performances across the park. I thought also the locks were just really industrious, did a lot of hard work around the park. Probably not the highlight reel kind of players, although Jeremy Williams got that try in the corner. They just got through their work, which sort of enabled for the attacking breakdown and for to lay a bit of a platform for Jake Gordon. I thought Tate McDermott was really good when Jakey went off for the blood bin, and then again later in the game. I know everyone just seemed to complement one another really well, and we're sort of starting to see the upside that we were all hoping, but also in some ways knowing that Joe Schmidt would bring to this group.
Yeah, I reckon the back row was immense. Like, I think Swoops touched upon it, but I just thought they complemented each other really well. You touched on it as well, Tate coming on, but the replacements, I thought Joe Schmidt brought him on at the right time. Even Ben Donaldson coming on, Noah started to look a little tired, and you probably need to be fresh mentally at the back end of the game to close it out. So I just thought all the subs were really well timed. I think Len Ikitau, for me, I thought, I wondered how he would go at 12 because he's been a consistent 13. But I like him more at 12. I feel like the closer he is to the ball, the more involved he is, and the more that we actually see what he can bring. At 13, you just get flashes of it and defensive brilliance. But when he's at 12, he just carries the ball. He did a lot of the hard stuff when, that first 20, 25 minutes, it looked like we were like men against boys type stuff. Like England were getting quick ball. They were carrying. Anytime they shifted it, they made momentum. It looked like they were just going to keep building. We showed some great resilience defensively. But when we actually got the ball and that line speed, we're still trying to work it out. Lem would put his hand up and do the hard stuff. But then he's also got the flashes of brilliance in him as well. So I thought Tom Wright as well at the back. He was great. England, however, that 5-man play or whatever it was, or the 7-man line out when they were up, just the play before they had a ruck, they slowed it down and went for a box kick, got charged down. They get a line out and they try to play some move that opens us up. It actually worked, but the 13 was too flat. But I just thought percentage football in test match rugby, they're better off just going all maul, box kick, keep us down now half and just close the game out. So I thought that was a pretty pivotal moment there when they tried to play. Kellaway gets a loose ball, we get back in front, and then we've got belief.
Yeah.
Did you guys know Kellaway had that sort of speed, that turn of pace?
What about his angle? He used that smart because he was getting
that
run
was
down that way. He's getting run down that way.
the timing on the swerve. He's obviously been chased quite a bit.
Yeah.
The timing on the swerve was brilliant. Like, it's genius. Like, he just could feel that he had the defenders right down his neck, and he was getting chased down. Like, if it was a straight line race, I think they would have caught him. I'm not too sure Kells would be happy to hear that, but like the timing just to kind of change direction and run away with it. Like, I mean, that was awesome. I like what you said, Drew, around a lot of players complementing each other. I think the fact that Jakey Gordon gets this split across his forehead and just absolutely spits claret, and then Tate McDermott, because I guess Jakey played it like, I guess, presented a bit of a platform for the first 20 minutes. I'm not too sure when he went off. He went off, around 23, 24 minutes, whatever it was. Allowed Tate to come on and see the opportunities just around the ruck, because we were playing just outside that 3-4 channel. So for Tate to come on, it was like a real blessing, really. Like, for Tate to come on and just expose the space around the ruck, and have some like really influential touches. Like, the first 2 touches of his led to obviously some points. Kind of gave Jakey some scope in the half, and then obviously Tate to come back on. And I mean, they played really well. I mean, I thought the back 3 were really strong as well. Sua'ali'i had some really, really nice touches. What I really liked about Sua'ali'i's kind of game was just his ability to compete in the air. Like, I think we saw that across the park, and we've been talking about it all year. Like, I guess the inconsistency with our kicking game and contesting and chasing, I thought that was very competitive last night, and we made the most of those 50-50s. And obviously, Sua'ali'i off our attacking kickoffs, getting the
Yeah,
ball back a number of times. I thought it was, yeah. I mean, we received kickoffs well. We exited well. Noah's kicking game was brilliant, not just at post, but like throughout the game. They're all contestable. They went out when they needed to. He relieved a lot of pressure. The one time we found ourselves in a little bit of pressure was when we tried to run out of that half, and I think was it Lenny or one of the boys Tommy Wright went to
Yeah.
Sua'ali'i trying to hit it short. That's when we kind of. It's the only real time that we put ourselves under a lot of pressure and coughed it up in our own half when trying to exit. But apart from that, I thought the exits were clean, which allowed us to play in the right areas of the field and give the guys the right scope, to get through some shape and attack. But, mate, 80 minutes of just genuine hunger and attacking mindset is what Australian rugby is all about. So, like, it was an entertaining performance and a proud performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think we touch on that. Joseph Sua'ali'i. Like he had so much talk and so much pressure going into it. A 21-year-old coming across, obviously a big price tag and all the rest of it. So many eyes on him, not just in the rugby world, but rugby league, obviously back here in Oz, but just everyone, I think, because there's been so much sort of anticipation around what he can bring and how long it'll take for him to settle in the Wallabies side. And I don't know who it was out of the three of us that predicted him starting at 13, but I thought he looked great. Like, and he's the first guy since Matt Giteau to play for the Wallabies without playing Super Rugby. Obviously, also at Twickenham as well. But just for someone, we know he's played a big stage. He's played Origin. He's played Test match footy. He was always going to handle the occasion. But to go out there, he was man of the match on debut. Like, it's a pretty decent sort of a impact straight up off the bat.
Is that better than your meat pie story, Swoop?
The meat pie, as in like plucking myself from the crowd to become Wallaby number 800. No, it's not. I mean, I can compete with that one, but
I reckon.
I didn't know he got man of the match, actually.
Yeah, well, if he got man of the match, I mean, he deserves it for a lot of pressure, but I don't think he was our best performer. If you're thinking about Sua'ali'i playing 13 like before the game, how I pictured his involvement in the game would have been way different than actually the impact that he did have. But automatically, it gives us another weapon on kickoff. You've got someone that, what we get, 3 or 4, and we were kicking him out of Toji too, who was their best catcher, and was still able to get the ball back. So that's another weapon for us. My biggest thing is they get a lot of confidence out of it, but there's still so many good learnings that we can get from this game, like so many things that we can take away and improve and get better and better and better. So, I think this is exciting. We get to head over there. Hopefully they keep winning. Otherwise, Prof, you're going to have to go home because I think you'd be the unlucky charm.
Let's face it, I'm going to go home early anyway. Once holidays hold them. I've got the flexi ticket. Let's talk about now. Sometimes we get bogged down with how awesome Australia is. Let's talk about the English side. Obviously, Marcus Smith is somewhat of a special player. Everything they did, he had a hand in. How old Smith? 23, 20? He's going to be something special 21. For them for a long time. He might be 16.
Yeah, early
he looks
20s,
about 16. But he's going to be special for them for a long time. They've got Curry, they've got a Toji. Like, this is actually building to quite a good side for, I guess, this 2027 World Cup. Who wants to touch on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're.
You go, Drew.
Yeah, I was just going to say they've got some good players coming through. They're starting to play plenty of footy together as well, and they just sort of, just seem to be a lot sort of happier and whatever in the environment. But which also makes the win for the Wallabies even more impressive. But Marcus Smith, like that little kick in behind, for when they end up tackling Tom Wright back into the in goal, just little things.
Is that the one?
What's that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about that slide home kick where he took it when they scored. I think it was to put them up.
Yeah. I mean, like he's just got good eyes up footy, and this week he went to fullback rather than coming off. So like they knew that they needed to have his impact somewhere out there, and keep him on for the 80 because he's a special player.
They're not closing out games, though. That's obviously going to become a big concern. It was a big talking point after they lost to New Zealand, and this is another opportunity where they probably could have closed the game out, and they didn't, just through. I don't really know. Even the Toji's try that put them back in front before we scored at the death, there was a knock on there. Like how that was missed is beyond me.
Yeah.
Like that stuff shouldn't happen. But anyway, you get what you deserve in sport. But I think the big talking point for England will be that last 10 minutes being able to close it out. For whatever reason, they haven't been able to get it done.
Well, obviously,
it was like what we was. Sorry, I was just going to say, Prof. It's basically what we were suffering from earlier in the season, where we'd score a try. Like Maro Tojo scored the try, and then goes back and then drops the kickoff. You know, like that was us for most of the year so far. Like just not being able to, after scoring points, secure the ball and get out our own half, and then all of a sudden they give us that opportunity by dropping the ball off the kickoff, and then we've got that opportunity. You know, like you said, they could have iced that game there. Like it was right on the 80th minute mark. So they get that, secure it, couple of tight little pick and drives, and then all of a sudden the game's done. But you know, so it's kind of good to see those little improvements for our game, but also now we're putting pressure and transferring that pressure onto the other side and getting the same type of reward.
So obviously they led against the All Blacks, who chased them. You go, Swoop.
I was going to say, I reckon one of the learnings that the boys would be taking out of that game was around the attacking ruck. You know, like I thought the detail was good, like it was decent, but England were really, really good at slowing our ball down, like just being a real menace at that kind of defensive ruck. Like it felt like they were getting away with murder, but for some reason they weren't being penalised. Whether or not they were really effective at slowing it down. I think we could take a lot from that because being able just to stop momentum, from attacking shape, helps the guys a lot because you know what it's like, defending against flat, fast rugby that where they're keeping the ball alive. It's just sometimes impossible to defend. We saw that in the first with England's first two tries, right? But I think they need to look at how England really slowed their ball down, not necessarily about how more accurate they could be, or their speed of arrival, or ball placement, or anything like that. I think it's actually look at the little techniques that England were adopting just to slow it down and just really disrupt our flow. But apart from that, I thought it was good. You know what I really really enjoyed watching too was a lot of our tries came off the back of unconventional passing. Rather than that kind of ball in two hands and trying just to fix the defender as much as we could. It was kind of ball in one, tucked, and just a little over the top, or like leaning out the back, just which fixes. And if you watch the slow mo in that last one, Marcus Smith had absolutely no idea. When the ball was gone, his eyes weren't even on the ball. It was still on Lenny, and the ball was gone. And obviously Joseph's little kind of eyes on, just that little one over the top. I think that's an influence of Joe Schmidt. I think the Kiwis work a lot on that. And yeah, I think there's a lot more to take from that kind of unconventional kind of passing, and it's just seeing how we can fix defenders better and just provide a little bit more space for the edge.
Yeah, we look really good with that unstructured attack. We were lucky that it started to open up a little bit when they were in front 15-3. It started to open up, and that's when we could make some breaks. So good signs.
Very good size. Boys,
Good
that's your 20
signs.
minutes. Loads more to chat about. You know what the good news is? We are all meeting tomorrow afternoon to chat even more on this game and the others. We'll also go very heavily through that New Zealand defeat of Ireland. What does that mean for the Irish side? We'll also talk about why people from the Southern Hemisphere are awesome. It's a fact. We'll also take a look at, have you got a score update behind you there? Goit, is that France v
38-0.
I think
Japan?
France are giving them a good.
Yeah, 38-0 to France. And would you believe it?
Right.
I did pick them. Ukraine beat Slovakia 135 points to something, or to not much.
You are on a heater, Biff.
What were our predictions for England Australia? Our score predictions.
Did anybody pick by 5? We'll get Tommy to have a look. I don't remember.
I think I was 7. Mine were all 7.
Well, let's work it out for
That's
tomorrow.
right.
We'll
Yeah,
have.
we stuck with the same number.
Yeah, that's right. All right, very good, lads. Always great to see you on a Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. I think that's all we've got, unless anybody has anything else to add.
No, all
Sign
good.
us off, Drew.
KOKO!
Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube. You know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.